At 9 minutes to 8, it has been really great to talk about the issues that make you hungry for change, things that you believe could make your community better. It's one of the reasons why people do put their hand up to be a candidate in the local elections, because they want to make a positive change. For Dr. Nicole Sleeman, it's change that's very close to her professional heart, because health is at the centre of everything that she's done up to this point. But now you want a different role, Dr. Sleeman. You look around our community, you see what a hot environment we live in, and you see scope for changes. What is it that drives you?
Hi, Charlie. Thanks for having me on the show. What drives me, it's pretty simple. It's the reality that health begins in the community. You know, health starts where we are born, where we grow, play, live, work and die. And, you know, there's this idea that health is it's just in the health sector. And this idea is wrong. It fails to understand the building blocks of individual and community health. And that's why I'm standing for local council, because actually many local council decisions impact health. And I guess traditionally we say that, you know, health is a state government issue, but actually, you know, every government decision impacts health. And I think that we should be looking at the implications of health of all decisions in local council. And that's what I'm here to do.
That is an interesting thing, because most of us think about health as starting and finishing at the emergency department at the Cairns Hospital, or whether or not we can get an appointment to see our GP. But you're talking fundamentally about the way that we interact with our own community and our own environment. And there are many, many people that question why we do live in such a hot city where the planning doesn't seem to allow for the natural attributes, the things that could be making our city more livable.
Totally. You know, heat kills more Australians than all other natural hazards. We live in the tropics, and the way that we design our urban spaces, the sort of development applications that go through, you know, cutting down vegetation, building concrete jungles, increases temperatures even more. And we see the effects of that in the health sector. You know, during heat waves, for example, there's an increased number in ambulance call-outs, there's more presentations to the emergency department, there's more presentations to GP practices, both with heat-related illness and also, you know, people who have chronic illness like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. In the face of heat waves or increased temperatures, you know, these illnesses, they arc up. You know, I have one patient, an elderly lady who has chronic kidney disease, and during the heat waves at the end of last year, she lives in a unit without an air conditioner, and her kidneys packed in. And, you know, she was going to the library every day. Intuitively, it felt good to be in the aircon. But the reality is that there wasn't any support from the community to tell people like this woman what to do in the face of a heat wave. And, you know, in our city, in the centre of Cairns, there's been so much cutting down of vegetation. You know, there's not enough green space to regulate the temperature. And this is a health hazard. These decisions made by local council impact our health, and it's not good enough.
Dr. Nicole Sleeman putting her hand up as a candidate for Division 6, which on the surface is a very green division. We're talking about Freshwater, Stratford, out into the Red Lynch Valley, that sort of thing. There's a question actually that's been coming through on the text line. We have been talking about democracy in motion here on the radio this morning. Kim is asking specifically to you, Nicole Sleeman, just wondering why there's no proper bike lane or path from the Freshie roundabout through to the Christian College. It's in a shocking state for all children and other road users right near a school. Can you please fix it up?
Yes, I'm really glad that you brought that up, Kim, because if you've received one of my flyers in your letterbox, you'll see that that's on the top of the list. That's been promised 2 elections over by the current councillor, and it hasn't been delivered. It's not good enough. I actually ride my bike to work along that road, and I can tell you confidently that it's not safe for kids. I wonder about my own safety sometimes. And the other thing is that, you know, when we look at building healthy environments, we want bike paths because we want people being active. We want to make it so it's easy for people to get their physical activity in. Specifically around the school, we know that there's been studies that have shown that around school drop-off and pick-up zones, there's higher levels of air pollutants because of all the idling vehicles. So actually any sort of traffic congestion or, you know, getting cars off the road is really important for kids' health. Nitrous oxide, which is one of the main pollutants in motor vehicle emissions, causes childhood asthma. and also exacerbates it. So, asthma is on the increase in kids, and one of the reasons is because we've got too many cars on the road. So we want to get people off the road onto bikes for health, and the Brinsmead Freshwater Bike Pathway is one of the promises that I will definitely deliver if I'm elected, 100%.
Nicole Slayman, it's been good to catch up and remind people that local government is not just about rates, roads and rubbish.
Not at all.
We need to put health right on the agenda as well. Look, this is a bit of a curly one. It comes around every election, the issue of fluoride in water.
Yep.
What is Community First's position on the idea that Cairns Regional Council ought to revert back to adding fluoride to our water supply?
Yep, Community First supports fluoridation in water. And I want to say that in Australia, dental health has improved since water fluoridation began in the 1950s. So for Australians born after 1970, like myself, when the majority of water fluoridation programs commenced in Australia, they have about half the level of tooth decay than their parents, which is true for me and my mum, definitely. And there is absolutely no reliable evidence that water fluoridation at the current Australian levels causes any health problems. And to people who are anti-fluoride, I'd just like to put forward, some other issues. For example, like microplastics or the chemicals in all the processed foods. Why aren't we talking about them? Because as a GP, I'm much more concerned about the amount of microplastics that someone consumes when they use a single-use plastic water bottle. It's a huge issue. Water fluoridation protects teeth. I see poor oral health all the time. We are definitely pro-fluoride.
Nicole Slayman, thanks for clarifying that, and thank you for being a part of the breakfast conversation this morning. Now, talking about too many cars.